You know, Sony has stooped low enough to collab God of War with Fortnite, so who's to say they won't stoop as low as adding Kratos into ForHonor? For this video, I'm going to be using old Kratos, and if you want to play with his younger version, then that's always an option for a cool skin. But anyway, let's get into it. Kratos is a very combo-reliant character, meaning he gets stronger the longer his combo goes on. He has access to the Leviathan Axe and the Blades of Chaos, which he can switch between whenever he wants. It's practically going to be a cooler version of Magi. So, here's the main meat of the moveset. It's a 3-hit chain between lights and heavies, and what's cool about it is that you can switch weapons whenever you want, and continue your chain that way. Let's say you throw a light in axe mode, switch weapons, then throw a heavy shortly after. That heavy will count as it being second in chain. Kratos' first attack is weak, the second is good, and the third one is really strong. In axe mode, your first light doesn't have any special property, your second becomes enhanced, and the third one becomes unblockable. Just like with heavies, your first heavy doesn't have any special property, your second one gains hyper armor, and the third one gains hyper armor and becomes unblockable. In blade mode, all your light attacks have the gimmick where they hit twice. That said, the first one is normal, the second one is enhanced, and the third one is unblockable just like in axe mode. And now for the special part. Your first heavy using the Blades of Chaos will actually use the chain to hit in a large area in front of you, dealing only 20 damage. Your second heavy will utilize both blades, hitting on an even wider area, dealing 23. And finally, the last heavy will make Kratos spin in a 360-degree motion, hitting everyone around him for 25 damage. In conclusion, Axe mode is the short-range hyper-armor duels mode, and Blade mode is the long-range teamfighting mode, but you can use each weapon for any situation as you see fit, as you will see later. Now then, each stance has access to a neutral charge heavy, dodge attacks, a chain bash, and a zone attack. Charging heavy in axe mode exists to help you get into your chain a little better, and if you charge it fully, Kratos will do this little animation dealing 30 damage, ending your chain. Charging heavy in blade mode will do this. Now I know people are going to compare this to Shinobi's range guard break, and that's why this one simply moves the enemy closer to you and gives you frame advantage. You can make it deal no damage, or around 10 damage, depending on how effective this move becomes in the game, but unlike Shinobi's range attack, this one doesn't lock the enemy in place. It cannot guard break the enemy out of revenge, doesn't deal 35 damage, and Kratos lacks backwards mobility, so if you pull someone closer to you, you gotta deal with the consequences. Both weapons have enhanced zone attacks. These are also there to help you get into your chain just a little better. In terms of chain bashes, axe mode will hit the enemy with Kratos' Spartan shield, dealing 15 damage and throwing the enemy far away. Blade mode will again pull the enemy close to you. The cool thing about it is that both of these act as chain starters, so if you hit the enemy with a shield, you can then switch weapons, chain bash with the Blades of Chaos, pulling the enemy close, switch weapons again, and push them with the shield once more. Of course, when you switch weapons, you will be frame disadvantaged, but even then, if you do a chain heavy with axe mode, you have hyper armor, so I just threw this in as a cool secondary mix-up. Now for the dodge attacks. As per usual, axe mode hits once, blade mode hits twice, but what's special is that they have different chase moves. Axe mode's front dodge heavy has hyper armor, just like Centurion's, and the front dodge heavy in blade mode will chase the opponent, just like Berserker. So again, use whatever you think will work best. Finally, Kratos has a blade blockade from neutral only, where if you time it right, and you full block an enemy attack, Kratos will use his shield to, again, knock the enemy away for 15 damage. And now Feats, the coolest part. Tier 1, Wrath. When this feat is active, Kratos will gain revenge at a 20% faster rate than usual. Tier 2 will buff both your weapons for 15 seconds. The Blades of Chaos will become emboldened in fire and deal extra fire damage, while the Leviathan Axe will become frozen and will drain and pause stamina every time you hit an enemy. Tier 3 is Unafraid of Throwable. If the Blades of Chaos are equipped when this feat is active, Kratos will throw them, dealing 30 damage plus 10 fire damage. And if the Leviathan Axe is equipped, it works pretty much just like Yorm's hammer. It will deal 20 damage and remove the enemy's stamina down to 0. And finally, Tier 4, Spartan Rage. Once this feat is active, Revenge will glow red instead of orange, extending its time to 10 seconds, and for every second Revenge is active, Kratos will heal 5 HP, meaning you will heal 50 in total every time you activate Revenge. I mean, let's get real. Spartan Rage in God of War is literally just ForHonor revenge. And guess what? In God of War, this also heals you, so why not? Add it to the game. Kratos is the de facto revenge build. You have to be really careful when ganking him, otherwise you're gonna have a bad time. And if you feed him revenge and you let Kratos get into his third chain, then God help you. Anyway, that's all for now. Like the video if you liked. Feel free to comment some executions or emote ideas. Catch you later.